Hello, friends, and welcome to another session of live interaction with author. And today I am blessed to have Stephen with us. Stephen has written a wonderful book. There's always a financial solution, and it all starts with financial planning. It's a beautiful book which I have read, and nothing of academic gyan. Only it talks about various case studies and the practical situations and how Stephen, as a financial planner, has handled it. So, welcome, Stephen, and I'm so glad to have you today with us, talking about your book and about your practice. Welcome.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you.
Stephen, if you can be a bit loud.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks. So before we start, let me read out the profile of Stephen Fernandez, who's an author and a CFP and a RIA. And after that, we will start talking with Stephen in detail. So Stephen Fernandez is the founder of Proficient Financial Planners, which is a certified financial planning firm and is a SEBI registered investment advisor. He has over 20 years of experience in the field of personal finance. Being the chief planner, he helps in preparing a roadmap to achieve financial goals in a time-bound manner. His forte is constructing financial plans, which includes budgeting, cash flow management, insurance and investment advisory, tax planning, retirement planning, wealth management, and so on and so forth. He's author of a CNBC published book, There is Always a Financial Solution, which we are talking today, which is a book on 10 unique financial case studies. He's contributed more than 200 articles for publications like Business Standard, Indian Express, India Today, Dainik Bhaskar, Digi World, and Money Control website. He's also written a case study for CNBC published book, Financial Planning for Software Professionals. He's also conducted several paid workshops on money management for employees of various corporates in Mumbai, Belgaum, and Bangalore. He's also actively pursuing spreading financial literacy to the youth and has so far visited over 100 colleges in Maharashtra, MP, and Goa, covering more than 30,000 students. In the last 6 years, conducting sessions on how to be a smart investor in association with the Consumer Guidance Society of India. That's awesome, Stephen. I think you're creating a larger impact on the society as far as financial awareness and financial literacy is concerned. Hats off to you.
Thank you.
Moreover, apart from his profile on the professional side, he's also an avid trekker and loves to travel. Somewhere he has missed on the marathons nowadays. Okay, so Stephen, I'm happy that we are talking today, and it was in my mind for a long time because this was a very different book that we have read. When books comes on personal finance, we have seen people talking about the more of the academic gyan of how you have to save and what you have to do, etc., etc. But you took a different side altogether, and you brought in various case studies, the practical real life case studies, covering from people at the age of 30 till the age of 70, if I'm not mistaken. Various people in various stages of life, bachelors starting their career, to the people who are retiring, spinsters, single parent, etc., etc. So, what made you write this book, and what were your inspirations?
Yeah, so I had started writing in the 2011 onwards, 11, 12 onwards in various publications. In between, I met my mentor, Gaurav Mashlwala. I had already written a couple of books.
Okay.
He told me that writing case studies is your forte, which not many people do that. We said, why don't you go one level higher, which is trying to write a book on that, because you have a variety of people that you have covered in your case studies. So that's set me thinking that it's a good idea and I probably should look at doing that. Then I spent my next 6 months actually evaluating what kind of a book it should be, because what I was publishing did not contain too much of a content in terms of the background of the family. It was more of the numbers. So then I started thinking that, okay, if I actually try and put in, and now today in the book, I have more flexibility because in the article, there is a limitation of words.
Yeah.
The book, I thought that what is good is that I can actually put in the life story of people, try and give situations of where they have reached, why they have reached, and how a planner can help these people, how we can guide these people, and provide practical insights. So to answer your question, yes, the inspiration came from Gaurav, and I started thinking on those lines, and then I said, okay, this is possible. So let me look at it.
So, in the preface of the book, you have mentioned you have written more than 175 articles. That was when you published the book.
Right.
And selecting 10 out of 175 must have been a daunting task. So, what was the criteria of selection, which cases and how, and was it difficult because isko लूं या usko लूं, ये better है या वो better है?
Correct. So basically, once I decided that I will write a book on the case studies, I thought that I don't want to write a book which will be catering to only a specific category of people.
Okay.
So I thought if anybody picks up a book, whether you are 30, whether you are 40, 45, 50 or 60, relevant for you. That is the first thing which I thought. Then second, since I had written case studies of people across the age category, I thought it would be a very apt to categorize to start from people who are in the under 30 and then move upwards towards those who even retire. Because even retired people need to know how to allocate their resources.
True.
Because their income is not there beyond retirement. They need to be very careful of how they are allocating their resources. Which is when I really started looking out and started zeroing on which case studies to actually feature in. It took me about a month to actually select those case studies and put it in on paper.
Wonderful. So, was it very difficult, or you had in mind, okay, this is something I want to cover, and for this is the case study? It happened that way, or the later part comes out, okay, this is a case study, now I have to put in, fit in the scheme of the book?
So I actually wanted to not only cover people of that, ranging from somebody who has started working early, just started working, and somebody is retired. I also wanted to pick up certain cases which are unique. For example, a widow, who has lost a husband and she has to now run the family. What is she going through? I wanted to feature that. I wanted to feature a spinster who is already in her 40s, who has decided not to get married. Going to how does she look at life and money? Then I also had some cases in mind where people struggled, had a very difficult life initially. So whereas I was selecting some case studies, some were immediately popping in my mind that yes, I need to feature these people. I need to feature at least these 4 or 5 case studies specifically. I should bring them in because they bring in an element of the pain that they've gone through, the ups and downs that they've gone through, and which many people will be able to relate to actually. 4 or 5 case studies, I would say that when I started writing, I knew that I will feature these people.
Okay.
Just 4 or 5, I had to actually go through my earlier case studies and this.
Okay. So all these case studies, whichever you have mentioned, were they a part of your practice, or were they part of your articles that you were writing, or it was a combination of both?
Yeah. So the case studies which I had written earlier, more than half of them were part of my articles.
Okay.
Almost like 60% you could say were part of my articles.
Okay.
But the case studies which I've featured in this book, they're all taken financial advice from me.
Okay.
And so I knew them very well. Is when I could actually meet them personally for this book especially, and go back in their personal life and try and dig a lot of information about how they started, when they started. Because I've changed their names in the case studies. They're not the original names. But the financial situations are the same. That is not changed. That's every bit of information that they gave me I have tried to put it in the book. So they are live people whom I've met.
Okay, perfect. That's very good. Because what happens is we get to know practically what is happening in a person's life and how it can be related to my own personal life when I'm reading the book. Another question which I had in my mind while I was reading the book is you completed your CFP, I think if I'm not mistaken, in 2009.
Right.
And it has been 12 years now, and you have been actively involved into the practice and, writing articles and writing case studies for the past 12 years. 12 years is a long time. It's as good as a generational shift. Okay. So in those 12 years, have you seen any visible change in the attitude of the people as far as financial planning is concerned, the way they approach the financial planning, the way they approach their investments, their thought process on investments, etc.?
Yeah. So there has been a shift actually over the last decade or so that I've been actively pursuing financial planning. One, of course, is the recent shift which has happened that earlier we were doing personal one-to-one meetings, advising clients on their personal financial needs. Today it's more of virtual meets which happen.
Okay.
That's a big shift which has taken place. 10, 12 years back, there was some kind of requirement which people had, and there was some kind of, what you can say, some literacy information people had about, okay, they need to do something about their personal finance. But today, the kind of, we can say, the flood of information which people are getting in the last couple of years, say, the amount of information that people are coming across today is much more than what it was 10, 12 years back.
Okay.
People are at least more aware of certain concepts.
Okay.
Like in terms of what is systematic investment plan. One need not tell people what it is because they know about it today. What is financial planning today? So people are more aware of term insurance, about medical insurance, about emergency fund, etc. So people are today more aware than they were 10, 12 years back.
Okay.
But there has been a shift in terms of how people are managing their money over the last 10, 12 years. So I would say that people who were there earlier, they continue to invest, they continue to maintain discipline. New set of investors which have come in the last maybe 2, 3 years, look at finances completely different.
Okay.
Some of them really want to make money very fast. Want to, with the kind of peer pressure that people are living into, societal status that one is really looking into. People are spending a lot of money. People are also getting into loans and a lot of debts. 12 years back, you know that there was a home loan which was a priority for buying a house. There was a car loan which people were taking for buying a car. But today, when I see a lot of people, young generation people who are started earning in the last 4, 5, 6 years down the line, today they are more into consumer loans, travel loans.
Okay.
Houses still are. So that difference, that shift is there. Today there is plethora of offerings through platforms, online platforms, P2P. Crypto is a new buzzword nowadays, etc. So today there are a lot of offerings, so people are getting confused, but at the same time, there are people who want to make quick money. So they are entering into dangerous territory. So they need to be, coached. They need a good advisor. That's much I would say.
So I was reading an article today, and that reminded me when you were speaking about, people making quick money. 1,000 rupees invested into a Squid Game in a couple of hours has become somewhere around 3.45 lakhs. Right. So if that is the ease with which people, young generation can make money, do you think it's a right trend or it's a very dangerous trend which is happening?
See, one thing which I would tell people is that, first, if you're investing your hard-earned money, it takes time to earn money.
Hmm.
Doesn't take time to lose money. Okay, so
Yeah.
people usually don't see the track record. They just see the immediate past, what has happened in the last 3 months and 6 months.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Dig deeper into history and go back to the scams that have taken place in the last 30, 40 years.
Hmm.
And there are several books which have been written on those things. And people need to be a little cautious when things are actually going overboard, when abnormal things are happening in the markets or new products are coming which are not regulated at all.
Hmm.
People need to be very cautious because ultimately there has to be some regulator which is backing the product. And if that regulator is not backing the product, where are you going to go with your complaints? Where are you going to go and seek justice? So people need to be very careful with these products.
Hmm. So some people are of the opinion that if it is unregulated, doesn't mean it is illegal. So how do you differentiate between something which is unregulated, which is illegal, and where should we invest? It is only regulated products we should invest, or we should also invest into unregulated, which is also sort of not illegal.
Yeah, so very, very, very important point you have brought out here is that people probably that could be one of the reasons is that because it's a known company, it's advertising a lot, so it's not unregulated. It is, of course, nobody's saying that it's illegal. It's a proper company which is formed, registered, etc. But at the same time, there has been no precedent about such a product available in the markets earlier. Means there is no precedent of what could happen, what could go wrong with that product. So people be cautious at least there that because we don't know what could go wrong and because we don't know what could go right. So you need to be more cautious actually. Because there is no resolution. If something goes wrong, because it is not regulated, of course it's not illegal. Whom are you going to seek a resolution? Where are you going to go and knock your doors to get back your money? So people need to be careful, I would say, especially the younger generation lot need to be very careful.
Okay. So, okay, I will come. I think I was slightly digressing, getting more into the cryptos of the world and other unregulated products. But yeah, but I think that that's a point that we should people should understand where they have to invest. And maybe I think I would like to know your opinion on one more thing because we move on to the next topic. Is what is more important? It is managing risk or managing return at the cost of a higher risk?
So basically, I think it all boils down to what do you really want? There is no, I mean, how do you define being rich or being wealthy? It's that question, you know. For example, how much money do I need so that I can feel okay, I'm wealthy? How much money do I need so I feel okay, all my needs will be met? Okay. So one has to be very specific exactly what does he want. Rather than defining what is risk for me or how much return I should be earning, what people should be asking is how much money do I really need to manage my goals, what are my dreams, what are my plans, how much money do I need? If you start asking those questions, probably they'll get a better answer. For example, if I'm planning to retire, let's say next 10 years, what is the kind of money I would need? That is a question that people should ask. And to reach there, what is the return I should get so that I can reach there? And based on the return, what is the kind of risk that I should be taking or how much I'm willing to take? That specific goal. Rather than just saying that, okay, I am a risk taker, I love taking risks, I am willing to put money here, I know this is a very high risk and high return kind of a product. But rather than that, if we are able to define exactly what we want, we will be able to reach there, understanding the risk that it involves, and understanding the return that it involves. It is specific exactly what we want. Only then we will be able to realize that what is the risk that involves and what is the kind of return that we do.
So as is rightly said, specific is terrific. The more specific you are, the better it is, because then you can define the way forward as far as your investments, your risk taking is concerned, right?
Absolutely. Right.
Perfect. Stephen, one thing when I was reading your book is for every case, you have given a strong background. And while we were interacting, somewhere you also mentioned ki, compared to the articles in the book, you get a lever, you get some kind of flexibility to have a strong background to be written about the client, so that the people understand where are they coming from. So I would like to understand, for the benefit of all our viewers, as to how do the past background and the past relationship with money help us understand what kind of person we are dealing with, or what kind of investment profile will he be, and how does he manage his investments, or what kind of things we have to look forward, or he has to look so that the past mistakes are not being done.
Sure. I think that's a very, I would say, very important question when we talk about managing money. Lot of our beliefs are based on what we have learned in our younger age.
Okay.
I'll give an example of the case study which is featured in my book. So there is this person who is majority of his investments are in fixed deposits,
Okay.
property, and government bonds, and traditional insurance policies.
Okay.
Almost 90-95% of his money is invested there. So when I go back to his background and I start to understand what has made him invest in something which is very safe, where he prefers to be safe, and he is not looking at very high returns, looking at preserving his capital. When I look at his background, I come to know that he was born in a very poor background.
Okay.
Always there was an issue of money for every little need. Always his family struggled for money.
Okay.
That thing that, okay, there is money is not there for whatever we need, whatever are our requirements, whatever are our needs.
Sorry.
When we need money, the money is not there. That thing caught on to him when he grew, when he started earning. First thing he did was he started investing in a fixed deposit, and he built that up gradually. Even property is something which you can physically see, and it's safe in a way that because it's in your name, property is in your name, nobody can take it away from you. There is some appreciation coming there. There is no risk as such when you buy a ready property, etc. So that connected me basically that, okay, because you grew up in that background where there was always an issue of money not being there, and you always felt that, okay, at any point of time, I need to see at least there is decent amount of money there. If I have any emergencies, I don't want to borrow, I don't want to take a loan, I don't want to, I want to be very peaceful in my mind that, okay, there is money for all my needs. And my money should not change in value. I mean, it should not go down in value. If it appreciates by a very nominal amount, I'm fine. So it took me some time to understand his psychology, why he was dealing with investments in that manner. And that background story helped me reach to the conclusion of why he was doing that. That is why I felt that, okay, putting the background story would really help understand the psychology of persons, why and how they deal with money, or what are the reasons behind decisions of investing in a property, or investing in equity, or investing only in fixed deposits. So we have come to know about based on their money cycle.
So while you are dealing with the clients and you're trying to understand his money related psychology, at times you may be of the opinion he is not having the right psychology as far as money management is concerned. As you mentioned about your case study wherein he was investing more into FDs and real estate and other the so-called safe havens of investments, and not moving into equities. But maybe his future goals or future orientation might be requiring him to invest into equities. So what would you do to change his psychology in that case?
Right. So a change is not something which happens immediately, because changing somebody's perception, somebody's belief, somebody's psychology takes time.
Hmm.
So what typically I do is that I first of all don't disagree with the person
Okay.
immediately on the spot at the
Hmm.
moment. So I tell him, okay, you have your set of beliefs, and why you have said your set of beliefs is because of these reasons.
Okay.
But there is also a reason why you should be looking at diversification
Hmm.
for these many reasons. And then you have to just support that with some data.
Hmm.
So I usually have data ready with me. So I support that belief of mine or the advice of mine, why the person has to diversify beyond, let's say, now the same example where he was only investing in safe products.
Hmm.
Keeping his retirement goal in mind, he had to take some exposure to it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I told him that if you don't do that, one is that the tax will eat up a lot of his earnings.
Hmm.
Money would not be able to beat inflation.
Hmm.
He have to extend his retirement by 5 years.
Hmm. Hmm.
When you put the data in front of him and then you tell him that, okay, I'm not telling you that you should be putting your money, entire money in equity. You have to start gradually.
Okay.
Look at putting, say, 3 or 4% of your money right now in equity. Look at the next 1 or 2 years. Look at how it goes. Be comfortable with it, and then increase your allocation.
Hmm.
This is how I started with him, and today I think he's last 5-6 years, and he's very comfortable in terms of how things are going.
Hmm.
So one, I think you can't change somebody's psychology overnight. It takes
Hmm.
time because it has taken time to form. We
Hmm.
can't. It will take time to change.
Hmm.
Second, I don't disagree on his belief. I agree with the way he has made his decisions and he has formed some beliefs of his. But I just give him a rationale saying that, okay, this is fine so far where you've reached.
Hmm.
But your journey, which is still ahead now, 5-10 years ahead, would require a little shift on a belief. I'm not going to change your complete belief, but do a little shift. Let's start with an experiment. Let's just start with an example with a small amount of money.
Hmm.
Because there is a data which is backing that belief, which is a new thing which I'm recommending you. Let's look at how it goes for the next 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and accordingly, we could take a call, bigger, slightly, we could increase it little.
So one very interesting point which comes to my mind over here is, let's say in the last 4 or 5 years, you have tried to change his psychology, and he has started moving a part of his money into equity, maybe over a period of 5 years, maybe 20, 25, 30% or whatever. And he sees a situation like Feb and March 2020. And the portfolio looks negative, possibly that it may look negative. And so how does people react in that situation?
Yeah. So I think there are two things here. What we have been advocating is that downsides are part of your life. You will see, moment you have equity in your portfolio, you will see some point in time where your portfolios will be down. Okay? But if you trust your advisor completely, don't worry too much about it. But having said that, that does not make people completely comfortable when such events happen. There were some calls which came in from people, but there were mixed calls. Some people were saying, "Can I invest more?" And especially this client of mine, and some of them said, "Yes, should he exit because it seems that it can go much deeper. The fall could go much deeper." That is when we collectively, what we did was we wrote an article, a very short article, that our journey doesn't end in 2020. We are looking at 2030 or 2025. So this one event will not change much, And then I try to give them some data which happened in the past. When such situations happen, how markets have changed over the next 2 years from the major. And then they said that, don't worry, we are there with you. We all are part of this cycle. We all have, all our portfolios are, got affected some way or the other, depending upon how much we are in equity. Doesn't change the reality that we're looking at a period which is 5 to 10 years ahead of us. Just go back and see that there have been several occasions when such things have happened. Not lasted, and markets always gone in the next few years.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to handle the situation.
Perfect. You had written this book, if I'm not mistaken, around 7-8 years back?
No, this is 4 years back.
4 years back. And any client who you have mentioned who is nearing his goal completion or reaching that stage of financial nirvana?
So one of them had already retired, the last case study of the book.
Yeah.
That time he was 62 when I wrote this study. So today he's about 66 approximately. And I mean, he's enjoying his retirement. He's going to this pandemic held him back. Otherwise, he was going for 2 foreign trips a year.
Wow.
Going for local trips, and he's more healthier than he was earlier. Mentally peaceful, and he's sorted, completely sorted. There was one more client who was 55 and who got retired last year. In his case, what affected him was that he retired 3 years prior. Just after writing the book a year later, his company got affected badly financially. And at that age, he couldn't get a job. So he got affected. So his finances have got affected because of those 3 years of lost years of money. He's in a position where at least he can take care of his expenses, monthly expenses, and he can look forward to not doing everything that he planned to do because of the 3 years which badly hit him. But at least he's able to sleep peacefully, he's able to do these things that he wanted to do.
Okay.
The others who were there in the 40s and 50s, I think now they are moving towards retirement, but they are moving in line with their goals. So there's nothing much which has changed. It has only changed for the better. They've got better corpuses now than they were earlier.
So there may be one set of clients whom you advise, but who are still procrastinating and who are not, heeding to the advice given and going their own way still. Just like we go to the doctor and there will be some patients always available with the doctor who will take the prescription but will not take the medicines. Right. And even if they buy medicines, they will not consume it in the way prescribed. So do we have that kind of clients also, and how do we deal with them?
Yes, we have such type of client. So over the years, we have realized that if you only make the financial plan and let the client do everything, it's like we are daydreaming. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Because we all know that today people are so busy with their work. They need somebody to constantly remind them, push them, nudge them, and tell them, okay, these are some things that we have planned. There is a timeline given to you. There is a action plan given to you. Why don't you complete that? So we have realized that we need to do the nudge, a soft nudge to our clients, so that they are able to remind them of the action points that they were supposed to do. And we've been doing that. But inevitably, you find about 5% of the clients who procrastinate quite a bit. But what I have started doing now is that we give some kind of a period to accept such procrastinations. But over a year, if not much has happened, if the client is not doing anything, then we politely tell the client that, sorry, I don't think I can make any difference in your life. We want you're not able to assist us in helping you complete. Try to bid a very polite goodbye to such clients. But otherwise, most of the clients what we have tried to come up with that we give a soft nudge and we help them, remind them. Certain reminders are there, certain events are there when we keep our regular reviews with them. And 95% of the clients are actually doing this.
Okay. So, Stephen, you have an immense experience on public case studies, and because of the articles that you write and the people you interact for creating financial plans. Will you be able to provide us with 3 suggestions in general, which can help people rectify their financial life based on your perception about generally where people go wrong?
So one is, as per the title of my book, people normally think, okay, I should have done this 20 years back.
Hmm.
You have started 15 years back. Now it's too late. So it's not like that. Just like when the doctor tells you that your sugar levels, indicating that probably you might be moving towards becoming a diabetic. That sets an alarm bell, and then you start working out. You start focusing on your nutrition, your food, exercise. Similarly, the day you realize, okay, I need to start today, now, control of my finances. That will be the day you start. So don't look back what has happened. First is, don't get dejected because you started late. That's not right. You could always make some course correction.
Okay.
So this is a day for you. That's one.
Okay.
So be positive. The day you realize that I can make my course correction, that's your Nirvana day or whatever you call it. And that day onwards, don't look back. That's one. Second, try to do small changes. You can't do major changes immediately. When you start doing, try to do little changes, because when you succeed doing those little changes, you get a motivation to work on bigger things in life. For example, if you're not able to save money, you're earning a good amount of income, and the problem with you is you're not able to save money, and you've decided, okay, I think I'm not saving money. What do I do? Start by saving a small amount of money. For example, if you're earning, say, 50,000 a month and you're just saving 1,000 rupees, plan by saving, say, 2,000 rupees next month. Save 2,000 rupees, you get confident. Oh, I am able to do that. So the small, what you can say, successes will help you think about bigger successes, and gradually you start looking inwards. Okay, can I increase 2,000 to 5,000 now? Maybe 3-4 months later. Can I do some changes in my cash flow so that my saving can increase? So second point was, take smaller steps. If you get some success in smaller steps, then talk about bigger steps. Bigger step and don't succeed and you give up. That's the second point. And third is, make a plan. The day you realize, okay, I need to take control of my finance, I need to do something. Make a plan which can give you some indication of where you're going and where you want to go. Don't do any changes where you will be going. So what are the changes that you need to do in your life? What are the little changes? So taking control of your life, of your personal life, and giving the same status as you would give to your health. So don't wait for the doctor to remind you, or a financial doctor to remind you that you are in a very deep problem. And give an equal status of your health to your finances. There are three things which I would leave with the audience.
So to summarize, I can say it is never too late to start afresh.
Absolutely.
Look for smaller steps. It is something like, that mobile game psychology I always relate with. As long as you keep on winning, you will keep on playing. Right. The moment you start losing the game, you will quit and you will move to another game.
Absolutely.
And the third is have a plan in place.
Correct.
Perfect. So one more thing. Now, this is out of curiosity, my own curiosity. You have been doing a lot of trainings in urban and semi-urban and rural areas. As your profile says, you have, I can, if I am permitted to say this way, you have empowered more than 30,000 students across Maharashtra and Goa and Karnataka on financial literacy. Correct. So when you move from the urban area to semi-urban and to rural, do you see any shift in the pattern of how people behave as far as their financial life is concerned, or it's same all across?
See, financial literacy is, I would say that to some extent is there in urban areas, to some extent.
Okay.
But the financial mistakes are done across everywhere.
Okay.
When we talk about urban, semi-urban or rural
Hmm.
areas. You know,
Hmm.
mistakes could be different for different people.
Hmm.
So our first point is that, okay, there is a slightly higher amount of literacy level in the urban areas, financial literacy levels, than the rural areas. That is one. Second is all make mistakes, whether it's urban, semi-urban, or rural. But where they make mistakes could differ from people to people, from region to region, the urban to rural. Okay. Third is the choice of products or the investments that people in rural areas make and the people in urban areas make. People in urban areas typically invest, of course, along with your fixed deposits. They also look at property, and some part of them also look at equity. But the people in rural areas, I am not sure in the last 1 year, but at least when I was actually actively pursuing, equity had actually not created much of an impact in the rural areas, the knowledge of equity. And the choice of investment mostly is holding cash. Second, buying land.
Okay.
And buying gold. Three preferred asset classes for rural areas.
Okay.
And we used to converse with them. They used to mostly say, okay, emergency, why should I keep an emergency fund? I'll sell my gold. I keep gold always. I don't need an emergency fund. So equity, why do I invest in equity? I invest in land. And, land prices are appreciating, etc., etc. The liquidity issue was not really understood by people in rural areas. So that is the slight shift that I want to explain, that urban areas and rural both make mistakes, but both have a choice of products where they invest. Okay? And both make mistakes, but in a different level.
And who is more centric towards consumer loans? Is it the urban segment or the rural segment?
Yeah, so urban areas is more towards consumer loans. So some of the colleges that I visited, especially in the remote areas, they were very clear that they would not want to take any liabilities.
Okay.
Two colleges
That's interesting.
interacted with. They were not so well to do, but they were very clear that we don't want to take up any liability, because as it is that there is a shortage of money and we don't want to get into any liabilities. At least taking the smaller steps in saving at least 500 rupees, 600 rupees, smaller amount. They were more interested in that aspect. One more point which I realized is that people in rural areas, they give the complete years when you talk.
Complete years?
I mean, they give their years to you when you talk. Because
Okay.
Knowledge.
Okay.
Because somebody from the urban areas come down to give knowledge to them about finances. In the urban areas, you know that frequently somebody or the other is talking about personal finance. You are on social media, you read newspapers, etc. You get some updates there. In the rural places, there are not many people really, spreading financial literacy. So these people are very more than eager to listen. That's a big difference.
Okay. One more trait of your personality is you are an avid tracker. And this has been for a long time as far as I'm aware of.
Right.
And recently, during one of our interaction, couple of days back, you told us you have started taking batches of people and started introducing them to trekking and nature.
Right.
So, was there any inspiration? What exactly are you trying to achieve by? Which is actually a very, very noble cause. I would put it that way. But what inspired you to take people to nature and make them trek?
So this is my 25th year of trekking. I'll be completing 25 years this year.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. So what I have seen is that there are many groups for those who are avid trekkers. There are many groups who will take you, Many people who focus on people who trek. There aren't anybody who actually tells a person, okay, you're not able to trek. Exercise. Come, I will take you. I will see, okay, what is the level of trek you can do. I will help you spend some time in nature. Okay, so I was, during my interaction with many of my clients, I found out that there is a client who has, purchased a very good high value camera 5 years back. and with the intention that, okay, I will take out some time from my work,
Hmm.
go in the hills, and I will shoot nature, I will
Hmm.
shoot wildlife,
Hmm.
and that is how I will, that's my stress buster, and I will, that is what I'm looking forward to doing. But during my subsequent interactions, I found that he could never do that.
Hmm.
Then there were many other persons who I came across that health-wise, they were not doing well.
Hmm.
And so when I asked them, okay, when is the next, how do you, relieve your stress? How do you, are you have a proper, do you have a proper exercise regimen? Do you spend time in nature, etc.? I realized that many of them are not doing that.
Okay.
And then over the years, I also had some nudge from my friends telling me that if you are going to so many places, why don't you take us also some?
Okay.
So when I thought about all those things, I thought, okay, why don't I start something where I achieve the goal of taking people who are non-trekkers,
Hmm.
and I experience nature to them, how it is to spend time in nature. Second, they will start focusing on their health. When they do one trek, they realize at what level they are. They'll start working towards improving their health level, because they would now want to do more, benefit their health. The third is, last 1 year I saw that because we are now talking virtually to people, the connection has gone. The deep connection people were developing because of personal talk and discussions is somewhere reducing. So that was a third aim to achieve. So the first group that I took people with, they were completely not known to each other. At the end of the day, they became very good friends. Most of them became very good friends.
Okay.
These are the three things that I'm trying to achieve. One is trying to take people who have never trekked and giving them an experience of trekking. And taking them in nature so that they can assess their level of health and try to improve their fitness. Third is to improve interaction within the people so they can establish a bigger circle of friends to their lives.
And how good is trekking for financial planners?
For financial planners, I mean, it's. I would say that trekking is a. I would love to do trekking every day. Get a chance. So it's good time to spend. Trying to be alone in nature. It's a big stress buster. And, I mean, you must have done a few treks, so you would really know the kind of peace you experience when you are in nature.
So let me admit, I haven't done any trek as of now, till date. I've been only into running, and running into the nature is something that I would love to do. But yeah, trekking is something, and if I get a help and assistance from you coming in, definitely we can plan one trek together.
Sure, next month we can do it together.
Sure, definitely. Okay, now coming back, so you mentioned you do a lot of case studies for various publications. So currently, are there any publications on which you're putting your case studies if the viewers would like to read those case studies and try to come to those situations if which are similar to theirs and understand what they can do?
So at the moment, I am not writing any case studies.
Okay.
Because there aren't any publications which actually publish case studies nowadays. But if the viewers want to access my case studies, they could go to Business Standard and they could do a search of case studies. They would get a whole lot of case studies there.
Okay. That's great. And one advice as a financial planner you would like to give to our viewers?
Yeah, so I would say that each one of you is unique. So don't try to copy the investing style or the saving style or the goals which others have. Try to see what you want, what will make you happy.
Okay.
And focus on those goals and then assess how do you need to achieve those goals.
Okay.
Rather than looking at others, you could take inspiration from someone, probably on certain things which you're not aware of or which you don't have clarity on. Your goals are your goals, your own personal goals, ideally, which will make you happy. Focus on those things and then see how you can achieve those things by, which can actually meet your own requirements rather than meeting somebody else's requirements.
Great. And one last question, which I definitely ask each and every of my author, with whom I'm interacting, is when do we expect another book from you?
So in fact, we have written the matter also. Most of it is ready. I think I should bring it by the end of this financial year.
Wow, that would be great. I think that's a newer gift which we are all are expecting from your side.
Sure.
And will it again be on personal finance?
It is on personal finance, but it is something to do with the legacy.
Okay.
Which will be a very practical book, which will be used by anybody and everybody.
Okay. Wonderful. So that gives me another reason to say, okay, we will be meeting soon. Maybe with another episode on the legacy planning book, which is coming from your end, and 2022, which is not very far away now, is something that we will be looking forward to have you back over here. So friends, this was Steven Fernandes and his beautiful book, Case Studies. If you haven't read it, please, I would urge each one of you to please read it, because there is one case study which will definitely have some kind of similarity to your situation somewhere and give you solutions. While you can get some idea on the solutions, but that doesn't mean that these solutions will solve completely. I would still urge you to get hold of a financial planner, advisor, and discuss your situation and get the right remedial actions or the way forward as far as your unique life is concerned, because you are unique, your life is unique, your finances are unique. So with that, I would like to end this session and wish you all a very happy Diwali. Celebrate responsibly. Thanks a ton. Thank you.
Thank you.